Hey guys, back with another video. Today I want to talk about the US dollar as the number one macro factor in the stock market reversing its bear market. And I want to talk about the chances of hyperinflation and as well as the chances of the dollar losing its role as the world reserve currency. So let's get into it. So the US dollar right now is experiencing inflation, right? The last print was 8.3%, and yet the dollar is rising in value. Now, this is perplexing to lots of people. The dollar, as I just said, is at 8.3% inflation, and yet the DXY, which is how we measure the dollar's value relative to other currencies for the most part, is the highest that it's been in 20 years. And, it's showing no signs of slowing down. So, about a year or two, this guy, Brent Johnson, who invented the dollar milkshake theory, he came to my attention, and I never really looked deep into that, but it looks like his theory is playing out for the most part, which is that the dollar's role as the world reserve currency is basically, despite all the inflation of every currency around the world, because every currency has been printed after COVID and just worse and worse monetary policies, looser and looser, more printing consistently over the past few decades. So every currency is suffering inflation, low interest rates, but the dollar has the major advantage of being the world reserve currency. Now, I'm not the biggest historian, like I could know more, but one major factor in why the US dollar has a world reserve currency is because 3 years after the gold standard was ended by Nixon, I believe in the 70s, we made a deal with Saudi Arabia that we would protect them, and in return, all of their oil would have to be settled in US dollars. Now, oil is obviously the major energy commodity, and energy is massive. So this largely entrenched the US dollar as the world reserve currency. Now, obviously, this is very complicated. The world economy, the US dollar's role as the world reserve currency. Now, there's another theory that, the US dollar's role as world reserve currency could come to an end sooner than we would imagine. And the way that could happen is through Saudi Arabia ending their deal with the US as allowing all of their oil settlements to be settled in US dollars. Now, there's already speculation that this is already happening, that they're already selling oil and not settling in US dollars. I'm not certain that that is true, but it does look like there's pieces setting up to where they'll feel more confident in ending their deal with the US. But let's just talk about if they do that, then it will significantly decrease the US dollar's synthetic value, where people need the US dollar to buy oil. Obviously, that will lower demand significantly for US dollars. Now, my counter to this is simply that there's so much debt denominated in US dollars as well internationally. And I don't think people are going to want to piss off the US and, default on their debt. So I don't think that's super likely, at least not in the next decade. But these are the dynamics that we're looking at. And ultimately, the inflation of the US dollar and the demand for the US dollar are some of the most fundamental drivers of the world economy. So just the past couple months I've been looking into this, and I think it really clarifies some of the larger dynamics on the world stage. So I wanted to share that with you guys. My conclusion is that it's unlikely that the US dollar will lose world reserve currency status in the next few years at least. I do find that to be a significant risk of Saudi Arabia, openly ending that agreement and opening up to other currencies. I do know that China is working on their new currency, which I believe uses technology similar to blockchain. And so that's interesting, but I don't think people really want the Chinese currency to be the world reserve currency. I don't think people really want that. So yeah, that's where I'm thinking. I've been this is another reason why I like Bitcoin and gold, because just the end game doesn't seem too bright for the world reserve currency, for the different currencies around the world. They're all just debasing and inflating and needing to maintain lower interest rates just so that their countries can stay afloat financially. So it's not going to end well. It's just a matter of when it ends and how it ends. And yeah, so I've been stacking up on gold ETFs, some physical gold, and Bitcoin, largely as an insurance policy. So that's what I've been doing. Those are my thoughts. I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody really knows, but it's just very interesting dynamics. And as I said, the end game doesn't look too bright. So if you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe. See you next video.